Roppstar, what up? What up? Appreciate everyone in here. Join the live stream. Come on in. Get your feet wet. Get your feet propped up. Grab yourself some popcorn. Grab yourself a cocktail. Whatever it is that you like to do. Let's talk about this game, man, because I have a lot to say. We're going to be talking about the recapping the game, and then I'm going to be giving you my stock up, stock downs as I do each and every week. I'm going to be doing that throughout the regular season, of course, as well. So we're going to be diving into this whole game. I didn't make a PowerPoint presentation today. We are just going to use ESPN because what I saw today does raise a lot of eyebrows, in my opinion. People say that we're overreacting, but to me, it's frustrating from a standpoint of a few things. And I'm going to get into that. And it's not that I'm saying like this team's going to be ass. I'm not like jumping to conclusions or anything like that. Okay. But what I am doing is I've analyzed this. I've sat on it for a little bit. I was on Panthers Prime podcast earlier today. And I was over there talking to those guys. And so shout out to Prime over there. I was talking to those guys and stuff like that. And, it's I have a mixed bag of feelings for this game today. To be honest with you, it's a very mixed bag. I went over there and I was talking with those guys and chatting it up and stuff. But anyways, here's the thing, though. If you were hoping to learn something about the Carolina Panthers from this second preseason game, I'll be honest with you. I can tell you right now, you were probably left more confused than you were informed. You might have been informed in some things, and it probably wasn't good. But if we're talking about losing 20-3 and in Houston, it wasn't just ugly. I'm going to say it was borderline like pointless. Because the worst part was the lack of clarity was completely avoidable. Yes, preseason is notoriously sloppy. Yes, teams are vanilla with the play calling. But there is sloppy and then there is incoherent. And what Carolina put on the field today in Houston belonged in the latter, Latter, latter category. All right. That's where it stands for me personally. Okay. So that's what I'm taking away from it. First things first. Okay. First things first. Bryce Young. Let's talk about Bryce Young first off. This is just absolutely I mean it's almost baffling, man. The Bryce Young show that wasn't. The Bryce Young show that wasn't is what I want to say. Because so much for the advertised test against the Houston's defense. Because Bryce Young's second preseason outing of going into his third year was over before it really began, to be honest with you. It was over before it even began. Okay? Head coach Dave Canales told reporters last week he'd give Young 3 series instead. And instead today, though, your franchise quarterback got 2 series, 7 total plays, 0 completions, and an early hook. Bryce Young went 0 for 2 in passing, including a drop by tight end Jadavion Sanders, a one-handed attempt just out of T-Mac's reach. He also took a sack. He walked off with the field with a 39.6 passer rating. That was it. Here's the thing that it's not necessarily on Bryce's performance that I am most particularly getting on. I'm going to be clear here. There's always an argument for protecting your quarterback in August. Nobody wants their preseason torpedoed in a meaningless exhibition game. But there is also an argument for reps, is what I'm getting at. Real reps against a real defense, right? Especially for a quarterback who stumbled out of the gate last season, pulling him after 2 empty drives is just baffling to me. Like, here's the thing. If you plan to build chemistry, then letting him throw twice before calling it a night does not exactly qualify as a team building. Either Canales panicked like a pussy, or he either second-guessed his own plan. To me, none of it inspired confidence, and it's frustrating to see. I don't care if it's only preseason. The thing is what I'm getting at, and I said it before and I'll say it again, just like I just said now. There is an argument here, though, for reps. I get it. It's preseason. I knew we were going to have people in here saying it's preseason. That's not my point. I'm not going off a production or I'm not going off on Bryce for his performance. What I'm going off of is the fact that there is an argument for reps here. And I'm talking about real reps. Like I was saying, against a real defense, which Houston really does have. And it's especially for a guy who has came out every season out the gate, not just last season, but the season, but even his rookie season. And granted, the rookie season is a total different story than last season. But you're talking about a quarterback who stumbled out the gate last season. You pull him off after 2 empty drives. It just blows my mind. Because here's the thing. If you're planning to build chemistry, that's what you're so-called doing here, then letting him throw twice before calling it a night, to me, does not exactly qualify as a team-building exercise or even practice. So I get it. We got guys in here saying it's only preseason. I get that part of it. But you cannot tell me that you should pull off your guys after 7 snaps. To me, that is pointless. After 7 snaps. Pointless. That's what I'm getting at. It's not necessarily the performance I'm getting on, guys. It is just the cold hard facts here is that if you're going to build chemistry and you're going to do team building here, you got to keep your first team offense on the field more than 7 snaps. That's it. So again, either Canales panicked or he's second guessing his own plan and he's overthinking it. But I can tell you right now, whatever it was, it didn't inspire any confidence in me. I can tell you that. I can tell you that. So it's not necessarily a Bryce Young performance. It's more of a coaching thing for me. You should have kept the first team offense for another drive at least. But what do I know? What do I know? Because so far I've been pretty spot on, actually, all preseason and all offseason, starting back from the draft. And I'm not trying to toot my own horn here, because I have been wrong about some things too. Don't get me wrong, but I know I'm right about this. I just know in my butt, I feel it, because I wouldn't be like, and I know I'm not the only one. Panther Pickle, shout out to Panther Pickle, C3, those guys, man. But shout out to Panther Pickle, like, and he agrees with me. Thank you. It's pointless. 7 snaps is pointless. What good does it do if you're trying to build chemistry? There's too many young and fresh faces here for us to sit here and go based off 7 snaps. Now, Dave Canales did mention at his press conference that they liked what they saw at the joint practice. That is great. That's great. I'm glad you liked what you saw at the joint practice, Dave Canales, from your offensive standpoint. Okay. I love that for you. Okay. I really do. But here's the thing. If we're talking about, because I feel like, in my opinion, okay, joint practices aren't always game speed. Some of them are in pads. Some joint practices aren't. You don't build real chemistry on 11 on 11s where your quarterbacks don't even get touched. So if you want timing under pressure and you want to get, and if you've got to let them actually, you've got to actually let these guys play through it if you want timing under pressure, right? Because another thing is, in joint practices, there are no game situations. Those aren't game situations. It's controlled, ladies and gentlemen. There's no crowd for some, but I mean, it's not like a crowd in a stadium. There is a crowd out there, but there's no clock. There's no real pressure to convert on third down. Where you build chemistry with your teammates, and I've always, even when I was in high school, chemistry is built under the lights. It's different than chemistry when you're in shorts on a Thursday morning on the practice field. It just does not make sense to me. It just does not make sense to me. Let me get to some of the comments real quick. So this isn't really about Bryce Young. This really isn't about his performance. It's really about Dave Canales pulling the starters for after measly 7 snaps that, to be honest with you, was pointless. I think Canales needs to just decide if he wants to play starters in the preseason or not, or stick to it a series, or 2 doesn't do anything or isn't worth the risk. Exactly. What's up, Marcos? While not playing them, risk rust in week 1. I would hate to see injuries. I get that too. I get the injury side of it too. Trust me, I do. But at the same time, man, like, it is so meaningless to fucking put these guys out there. For what? For 7 snaps? And then you pull them and don't, and they were 7 meaningless snaps, if we're going to be honest with you, because again, we didn't see anything. There was nothing to take away from that except, my God, we went 3 and out and we punted twice. And then the Texans, after they went 3 and out, they go down the field, 4th and goal, no problem, touchdown Nico Collins. They saw what they needed to see. I didn't. I can tell you that. From an offensive standpoint, I didn't. Colin Brett comes in and says, personally, I think the preseason should be about figuring out depth. That's it. I personally would play starters at all, but if I did, it should be at least a quarter. If they're going to do this, Colin Brett, I got a solution for it. Just do 3 joint practices and make it 2 to 3 days worth. 2 days with pads, 1 day with not. However they want to do it. Just do joint practices. Don't even do preseason. I feel like they would get more out of it than that, than just sitting here going into these preseason games with 7 measly snaps and you're pulling them after they go 3 and out and punt twice. It's about building chemistry. That's what we're doing here. This is about building chemistry, not just individual, with your teammates. That's what it's about. It's about learning the tendencies. Bryce has still got to learn the tendencies of T-Mac. He's got to learn the tendencies of Hunter Renfrow. He's got to learn the tendencies of Jimmy Horn Jr. and Rico Dowdle and Mitchell Evans. He's got to know their strengths and weaknesses. You ain't going to do that in 7 plays. It's pointless. and a waste of time. Yes, he was. Evero has third-degree burns on his ass cheeks right now. I think losing the third string left guard gave Canales cold feet. That it could have too. I mean, I don't disagree with that. I don't disagree with that. I hear that, Clay. I would have played the first team offense the entire first half. Exactly. Canales should have either give the offense a quarter or until first score. Otherwise, it's worthless. Absolutely. Absolutely. What's up, Panther Pickle? Kyrito MVP. What's up, man? Chef 83 says Canales. Rainbow stuff is getting old, especially when you look foolish every single game. Yeah. The Browns and Lions both went undefeated in the preseason. They lost 16 in a row. That's true too. I'm not worried about that. I'm really more worried about what, like I said, I'm going to say this for the last time. The argument here is for reps. Let me be clear here. The argument I'm making is about reps, real reps against a real team, a real defense, and an opposing team. Especially when you had a quarterback, again, who stumbled out the gate last season. Pulling him after 2 empty drives is just baffling to me. Because the whole plan that Canales keeps talking about is building chemistry. He says it himself every press conference. Then letting him throw, Bryce Young let him throw two passes before calling it a night. Again, that does not exactly, to me, spell out team building. Again, I blame this on Canales, and he either panicked or he second-guessed his own plan. And I can tell you right now, none of it inspired confidence in my mind. Yes, it's preseason, but that is my argument, and I'm standing on it. 10 toes down. And nobody here could tell me otherwise. They get that game gave me some bad vibes about how game 1 might be. To be honest, I see Bryce Young and Tua in new teams next year. More Tua than Bryce, to be honest. We'll see. I think all the preseason does is reaffirm what you already think. Possibly, it could. We'll see, I guess, because they did do some good in the practices preseason game 1, but something just doesn't sit right with me ending it on that negative note. Yeah, it doesn't. Nico getting biz in the cut. Yep. Our run defense might be ass without our run defense might be ass without D Brown. It doesn't inspire any confidence to me. Our punter looked good tonight. Yeah. Let's be honest. The offense had one good series last preseason. Look how game 1 looked. Yeah. I mean, they're getting more reps, but again, they got more reps this preseason than they did last year, but we'll see. Side note, Corey Thornton, Mike Reed, nickel corner had good games. Fitzgerald's taking the kicking job away little by little from Matt Wright for sure. Fitzgerald just had to be even with Wright to win the job. In my opinion, he's at least slightly better, so he's winning. Yep. Yeah, we'll talk more about the kicking battle. So I'm gonna say this. To me, the starters failed to inspire. I'll be honest with you guys. The starters failed to me to inspire any confidence in my mind. Like the first team offense, again, we're looking at it from this standpoint. If we're looking at team stats, the first team offense too. I'm going to say this as well. The first team offense, 3 net yards on 2 possessions. I'm going to repeat that again. The first team's offense contributions were 3 net yards on 2 possessions. That's not a typo, ladies and gentlemen. The opening play of that game could have been catastrophic because of Young's interception. Obviously, a penalty saved his ass. The second drive ended on a sack courtesy of Texans defensive end Mario Edwards, right? Sprinkled in Sanders, dropped third down pass. The result was 3 and outs. Accomplished nothing. Defensively, honestly, the starters weren't much better, I felt like. The Texans strung together an 11-play, 60-yard touchdown drive against them. Not back-breaking. It's not a back-breaking performance, to be honest with you. But that kind of tone setter this defense badly needs after last season's struggles. So my overall takeaway from the Carolina starters, to be honest with you, I think they all looked unprepared. They looked uninspired. They looked unthreatening. It just didn't inspire any confidence to me in my mind. And like for a team who's supposed to be trying to reset its culture under a new coach, I mean, I know he's second year, but still, that's a problem. And you can't tell me it's not. You can't tell me it's not. What's up, Eric Blair? Appreciate you coming through, man. I'm just keeping it real tonight. I'm keeping it funky. I'm not sugarcoating any of this shit tonight. Because again, I'm so frustrated with the fact that we pull our first team offense. That's really the main thing I'm so disgusted with. We pull our first team offense after I keep bouncing back to it, man. I apologize, guys, if I keep bouncing back to it. All right. I apologize. But it's just baffling that you pull your starters after 7 plays, 3 and outs, 2 punts, and you're supposed to be building chemistry. I don't know. Again, this doesn't inspire any confidence in my eyes. When it was a bad game, when all we have to get excited about what is 2 undrafted corners at the journeyman, and a free agent kicker. Yeah, undrafted free agent kicker battle. Yeah, it's funny. Damn, shout out to Flame for Jesus, man. He has just been blessing the channel all week with 10 more gifted memberships. So if you got one, shout out to all you guys. I don't know who got them, but a lot of you guys got them. So shout out to Flame for Jesus with that, man. Appreciate you coming through with that, brother. So hopefully some of you guys got the 10 gifted. Shout out to Flame for Jesus, man. Thank you for blessing the channel once again, Flame for Jesus. T comes in. I think the chemistry is there. The plays were not made drop passes or high passes. The argument here is guys, there's nothing you can tell me that my argument is wrong. Again, I'm gonna explain it one last time to you guys. The argument here is not about a performance. It's not about a bad pass by Bryce. It's not about over the top Bryce. It's not the one that Jadavion Sanders should have caught, because the one pass that Jadavion Sanders dropped, it should have been a catch. I'll be honest with you. But again, the argument is for reps. Again, real reps against a real defense, a real team, an opposing team. That is what I'm getting at here. Because again, we're talking about Bryce Young, who stumbled out the gate last season. You pull him after 2 empty drives is still baffling to me, T. That is what I'm getting at here. So the plan is, because Dave Canales has said it multiple times, if you've watched his press conference, all right, build chemistry. He says that. Then letting him throw twice before calling it a night doesn't exactly tell me, oh, we're team building here. No, it tells me, Houston, we have a problem. That's what it tells me. And it tells me we have a coaching problem. Not necessarily Bryce Young problem. We also have a coaching problem, because either, to my argument, Canales either panicked or he's second guessing his own plan. And none of that inspires confidence in my eyes. You can't tell me differently. Sorry. I hope they're going to run the ball more this season. I hope so too. Trevor Etienne was impressive. He was. And it was like every time he got a good run, they call it back with some type of penalty. Every single time. Smash that like button for Clay. Appreciate that, Marcos Cash. Panther starters look like a group that was just out there wanting the game over. I felt like it was an offense that was just throwing shit at the wall to see if it stick. To be honest with you, that's what I saw. Facts, Clay. Plus, they look terrible. Yep. This Flame for Jesus guy is generous. He is very generous. He's been blessing the channel all week, and I'm very thankful for it. Like, I'm gonna have to read the pay the favor at some point for this guy for sure. It doesn't seem like Canales is building a culture. He's trying to. I think he's trying to. It's not that I don't. It's just that it was just that in today's game, me in particular, with the things that I'm talking about, my argument is what I'm saying. But today it didn't seem that way. Flame for Jesus is truly generous. Awesome job. Yeah. Shout out to the positive Flame for sure. Maybe they should all go out for tacos after the game. I don't know. I wouldn't be actually, you're in Houston. That makes a lot of sense, Broski Bear. Yeah. And probably they might need to get a couple of cervezas as well. We need a better quarterback backup in case of an emergency. You're not lying there, Panthers gal, for sure. Man of arms, they'll probably play the starters next week against the Steelers scrubs to make Bryce and company look good again. As of now, I mean, I don't think they're going to. And even Dave Canales already came out and said that they're not going to be playing the starters next week. So, and then the starters don't play the third game. Yep. Because they know it's going to look bad. 336 Boston. They know it's going to look bad. Here's the thing. It makes Canales look bad, and it makes this team look bad if they're throwing their starters out for a third game in a row, which means it tells me, again, the chemistry ain't there, ladies and gentlemen, and it just even proves my point even more. So Canales doesn't know how to build a culture like this, like his positive. Canales doesn't know how to build a culture. I like his positive attitude. Got you. Dalton Plummer. I'm going to talk about them. I was at the game, was very surprised when I didn't see Bryce. I know. I'm going to talk about Dalton and Plummer here shortly. Chef 85. Today gave me vibes of last year, not in a good way. I feel you. I feel you. I feel all of your pain, guys. I feel all your pain. Listen, if anything, maybe like if we go back to what it was last year, we're just going to make the show every day a venting session where for you guys, I'm just going to put a couch in my background and I'm just going to imagine you guys like talking to me as your therapist. And we'll just call it the Roppstar therapy session for Panthers fans only. That's what we'll do. That's what we'll do. Panthers fans therapy session every Monday through Friday, 8 p.m. EST. That's what we'll do. Glass half full. I just emptied the shit out. Kendall. Oh, shit. Kendall, we were talking about that last night. It's funny that you mentioned that. It's funny. It's funny. Man of Arms says that's what we did last year. Did the first team defense play? Yeah. They didn't look better. I'll be honest with you. Broski Bear, I'll be honest with you. The first team defense weren't much better. I mean, the Texans strung out together. They went through, like, they forced a 3-and-out the first drive on the Texans. And then the second drive, when the starters came back out, they came down the field, 60-yard drive against them. I mean, we had them at 4th and goal, but they went for it. Shamar Bartholomew was way too far off of Nico Collins. And I mean, it was barbecue chicken. I mean, just barbecue chicken. And it's such an easy touchdown. But anyways, It was just there was no. It's not a back-breaking performance. I'll say that, but it's not the kind of the tone setter performance that this defense badly needed, especially after last season's struggles. Again, like I said, my overall takeaway on the starters, they looked unprepared. They looked uninspired. It didn't inspire any confidence in me. Definitely shouldn't have inspired any confidence in them. And they looked unthreatening. You're not scaring anybody with this team the way it played today. I can tell you that. From a first team starter standpoint, I know it's preseason, but again, I'm just going to be honest today. And maybe I'm overreacting. I don't give a fuck. But that is I have sat down and thought about this for ever since the game went off. And this is also, we got to think about it this way too. We're talking about a team that is supposed to be trying to reset its culture under Dave Canales, who's in his second year. That's a problem. That's a problem. Boot Tom. We're all frustrated, Clay. You ain't the only one. Yeah. We need some therapy right now. It's going to be a long season. Bottom line, in any walk of life, business, sports, hope is not a strategy. Hope the culture will improve. Hope the offense will get better. Same old song and dance every year. I feel you, man. It appears the same old with those very slow starts. The Jags have a D that sacked Houston's quarterback 6 times. Yep. They also have an elite pass rusher that we don't too. And they got Tre'von Walker. That's Evero's playing the CB's 10 yards off the ball. Yep. Is Big Grizzly Derek Brown out for the season again? No. He only played. I don't even think he didn't even play all the starter snaps. They took him off the field. I don't know after how many snaps he got. He only got a few snaps. It wasn't a lot. First team had no chemistry. They needed another series or two for sure. Calling it now. We lose to the Jags in week 1. Wait and see. I have been saying it since the schedule was released. No way we're winning week 1. Not with this culture, offense, and Evero. I feel you, Chef 85. You have every right to feel the way that you feel. Is the hype for this team gone for good? Are we back in the 2023 days? It's not looking good. I'll be honest with you, Tampa Bay Caniac. I mean, we could all be overreacting here. They could all, but you know what? At least right now, if I'm thinking the way that I'm feeling and thinking, at least right now, I can say, if they go out and surprise me, at least I'm surprised. But if they go out there and shit the bed, well, guess what? At least I'm not disappointed because, it's the same thing every single year. That's why I'm that's what I'm getting at. This is why I've been telling y'all to temper your expectations. That's why I'm one of the realest Carolina Panthers content creators out here because I see it for what it is. I'm very realistic here. I see the positives, I see the negatives, and I take what is given to me, what I see in the games, what I see from the beat writers since I'm not at training camp. I'm just giving you what I'm seeing. And then I give you my take on it. So that's why I said I could see this team. I think I told y'all my ceiling was 7 games. I'm saying I'm feeling my ceiling. My floor was 7 games. I'm feeling like my floor is going to be back to what we were last year, 5-12. And I see the ceiling being 9-8. That's where I'm. That's kind of after I've been sitting on that for a while now. Get them likes up. Appreciate that. Imani, eeny, meeny, miny, mo. I'm not sure how to pronounce your name, though. Sick of Evero, more of the same dropping edge guys in coverage, more of Mike Jack getting smoked. We never adjust. Hype is on live support. We paid for getting Bryce. We are still paying for getting Bryce. The offense will have to lead. The offense will have to lead the way again, which equals 5 wins. Shout out to Flame for Jesus with that $5. Shout out to Flame for Jesus with that. Damn, just continues to chop it up. Dave said himself that they didn't look good. Yeah. And he's going to sit down next week, and that worries me a little bit. And it's again, you're damned if you do, and you're damned if you don't, if you put the starters out there. Because if you put the starters back out there against the Steelers, it does look bad, which means it tells you that they're not satisfied with what they're seeing. But Dave Canales in his press conference today said that they won't see the starters. So let's see what he's going to be sit down. I'm hoping that we'll hear more about what his sit down was and that what he's going to come up with next week. Because we don't have a joint practice with the Pittsburgh Steelers, by the way, ladies and gentlemen, next week. We don't have that joint practice. Next week after, what is it? We had the game Thursday night. Then after that, the Tuesday after that, so this coming Thursday, we've got the Pittsburgh game. Then the Tuesday after that, you've got cut deadlines at 4 p.m. Yes, he has, Miss Rand. Chef, this Evero, last chance. We got to promote the secondary defense. So, yep. Is it just me, or does Clay always keep it real? Tried to, broski. I tried to. I think this is a time for a beer, ladies and gentlemen. What y'all think? I might have to go grab me a little cold one here in a minute. Definitely concerned with Scorton, for sure. Prayers out to him. Luckily enough, they'll get more of an update next week. Hopefully we'll hear more about him. Hopefully he can get back on the field, but I don't know. A punctured lung ain't good. Miss Rand says yes. I think the laugh out loud for Terrence Tate says yes. All right, time to go get a beer. All right, there we go. How you doing? And I got me a cup. Got two of them just in case. Depending on how long we're going to be on this live, you know what I mean? How you doing? Ooh, that's a cold one. All right. Let's get back to it. All right, let's move on. Let's talk about this guy right here. Let's talk about Andy Dalton real quick. So Andy Dalton comes in the game. I think he goes like 2 for 22 or something like that in this game. What did he do? Let's go look at his stats. He went 2 for 4, 22 yards, 67 rating, average 5.5. Exited with an elbow injury. Sounds like it's an elbow strain. He hit the medical tent, then was quickly ruled out. So the silver lining is that Dalton was later seen on the sideline chatting with Young. Then you put in Jack Plummer, which I'm going to talk more about his bum ass here in a minute. But, I mean, for the most part, at first it looked like Plummer was kind of coming into his own, kind of like getting comfortable, but still, even a minor setback for a 36-year-old backup is a concern for a team already lacking offensive stability. Like, an elbow strain after 4 pass attempts is not something. I'll be honest with you, it ain't good. It ain't good. I'll tell you that. AC Carter needs to run a more simplistic 3-4 scheme. It's too complex, to be honest with you, Chef. The Evero scheme is just too complex. Evero should have been let go last year, stuck with him this year. His contract is done after this season, thankfully. Defensive scheme is bad for personnel we have. I don't disagree. Just in case everyone is trying to figure out how we are still paying for Bryce, we went and drafted another first round receiver so we can make Bryce look competent. Shout out Flame for Jesus with that $10 dono. Flame for Jesus might be on to something there, ladies and gentlemen. I'm not saying it, but he might be on to something. Chef 85. I need to trade for Hendon. We need to trade for Hendon Hooker. I don't know about all that. He didn't look too good, Pork Chop, in that game against the Falcons. He didn't look that good. All right, let's move on. The run game. That's what I want to talk about next. All right, the run game. The run game. Carolina started leaning on the rushing. If we talk about last year, we really leaned on the running attack. But today, it looked bad. It didn't look good. It looked toothless. Like the Texans' front seven dominated at the line of scrimmage. I mean, they held the Panthers to just 21 rushing yards on 9 carries by halftime. Yeah, Chuba Hubbard had 2 carries for 4 yards. Rico Dowdle had 2 carries for 2 yards. You got Trevor Etienne, who had 7 carries for 18 yards. And then you had Kyron Lynch Adams, who had 5 carries, 27 yards, and 5.4 yards a carry. But the Texans weren't fooled, man. And the Panthers couldn't block. And the penalties made an already bad night even worse. I think even Carolina wants to be a ground and pound team again. Like they better figure out how to avoid starting in 1st and 20 of every other series. Okay? Every other series. Let's go back to Jack Plummer though real quick. Let's talk about his bum ass. Since some people believe that he's supposed to be he could be better than Bryce. I mean, the 6'5", 215 bum is what he is. I was squinting at the TV watching this kid play. I was like, this can't be for real. Like, he hit a few passes in rhythm, and he did have I'll say his dart. He did have a dart to the tight end. I think it was actually Tommy Trimble in the game, if I'm not mistaken, that he threw the dart to. But that was the lone offensive highlight of the entire game. The rest of this outing reminded me why he wasn't drafted, because he threw 2 interceptions. He absorbed 2 sacks. He failed to lead a single scoring drive, even against Houston's reserves. So we're talking about a guy who went 10 for 14, 82 yards, 2 interceptions, and had a 46.4 completion percentage, which he led the team in all of those categories, in yards and average, interceptions, sacks. Didn't have a better rating than Andy Dalton, but still, that doesn't mean jack shit. And I'll say this: his name isn't moving up the depth chart anytime soon. Let's just be honest. Yeah. Has very poor mechanics. He does. Jack should have been a plumber. He should have. Might not be a bad idea. He's got an arm, but his decision making is horrible. It most definitely is. Hold on, folks. Sorry about that, guys. My my girl is going to a late interview tonight. She has an interview with Walmart, so for a really good job. So prayers that she gets it. Hope she gets it. Our quarterback depth is a problem. Yeah. I don't think Trimble has back. Yeah, it wasn't Trimble. I thought it was. It was Bryce and Tremaine. Okay, thank you. Bryce and Tremaine. Thank you. That's who it was. Yeah. He's cut anyways. Yeah. Plummer needs to go needs to go experiment. His over. He had his shot today. Not even worth a practice squad spot at this point. Adios. Yep. We have 3 bad quarterbacks, and Andy is a shell old self. Yeah. I feel you. Believe it was Tremaine. You are right, Miss Rand. Might need to draft some competition next year. I've been saying that, Palmetto Panther. It definitely wouldn't hurt. Never seen a fan base mad that we get our quarterback weapons. I'm not mad about that. Not mad about it, but it is a fair point too. I see both sides of it, but I mean, I was all for Tedero McMillan, to be honest with you. I thought he was a dog. I was all for it, but I also wasn't. I was split between hairs. But the way the draft fell, I think at that point it makes the most sense. Bryce honestly was terrible. He threw 2 very wasn't terrible. Yeah, I mean Jerry said it wasn't bad. The one pass he had to Jadavion Sanders should have been caught. The one that to Tedero McMillan, he tried to one-handed, just didn't work out. It wasn't a great pass to Tedero. The one that to Jadavion Sanders was a good pass. Jarius, but the one to McMillan was it was not a good placed ball. I'll say that. And the timing was off on it. Hell, Bryce looked like he was lost. He did. He did for the plays he did play. Some of them he definitely did look lost. The only one play I can take from it was the Jadavion Sanders. That was the only positive play. So, but yeah, not good. Other than that, let's look and do some rookie check-ins real quick. I want to talk about Princely Umamielen. Let me find him real quick. He was out there. Where is his name? Okay, Princely Umamielen. I want to say this. The stats don't really tell his play. Princely Umamielen flashed. He actually had 3 tackles. I don't know why they only gave him 1 solo. He actually had 3 tackles. Technically, I mean, maybe if you want to consider maybe the one they're considering as a solo, but the 2 other tackles, they were mainly him, even though they probably counted as assisted. But 2 quarterback hits. He did have 2 quarterback hits. Nearly added a sack on his night. So him and Thomas Incoom both showed juice as a situational pass rushers. Thomas Incoom looks nice. Not gonna lie. I'm liking what I'm seeing from Thomas Incoom. As for, let me go back up here. Trevor Etienne, I want to dive into him real quick. Comments on him that I saw. Trevor Etienne has great vision for a runner. I mean, and he's just a well-balanced back. Even though the penalties really killed his best moments on the field, I also felt like Lathan Ransom and him brought a lot of energy in this, a lot of energy on the field. But Lathan Ransom really brought a lot of good energy in that secondary today, with some solid tackles and physicality. Undrafted free agents also continue to pop, like Corey Thornton. Again, he continues to just make plays after play after play. He looked like he belongs in the mix as a depth piece. I thought Michael Reed, the safety, Michael Reed, impressed him both in coverage and run support. I thought wideout Bryson Tremaine is, I think he's fighting for that last receiver spot because what did he do? He caught what, 3 passes on the day? Let me go find him real quick. Where is he at? Bryson Tremaine. Yeah, he had 3. I mean, dude, 4 targets, 3 catches, 46 yards. I mean, this guy's has made a lot of plays. So he could end up being one of those guys that he might sneak on the roster, man. He continues to make plays after plays. And he's the only one that really showed some grit today, to be honest with you. So for a team in transition, the kids are carrying the early preseason headlines for the most part. It's like our younger guys are actually making plays. I mean, so that is encouraging, but it's also a little depressing. It's a little depressing. I'll say this from a standpoint too. I felt like the defense, I felt like the Carolina Panthers defense had some highs and lows, even though, I said the starters weren't good. The starting defense, again, I want to make clear on this. They did have limited snaps, right? I mean, Derek Brown, this was his first game in action since, obviously last year's season-ending injury. He looked eager. He looked engaged. He even tipped a third down pass in trademark fashion. The Texans still punched in a touchdown on his watch by C.J. Stroud hitting Nico Collins on that 4th down. Y'all know which play I'm talking about. But beyond that, the Panthers' depth was tested again. I felt like the linebacker rotations, including John Radigan and Chris Barnes, neither exactly, made the best of plays. I felt like Chris Barnes made a few good plays. John Radigan, he's kind of been hit or miss. Jacob Widmont, obviously, you can see there had 5 solo tackles, 7 total. He was making some plays out there. But this unit didn't collapse, but it didn't intimidate either. All right. So, today I felt like was a big reality check for this team. All right. Big reality check. Let me get to some of you. Let me get some of you comments here. Princely was stout in the run. Yes, he was. Yeah. Our rookie edge is out for a minute, Clapsong. He's going to be out for a hot minute. Princely was all over the field in third quarter. Income is definitely making the team over DJ Johnson for sure. I feel like at some point we can't draft offense around one every year. 4 out of the 5 drafts we've gone an offensive player. Yep. Well, I mean, if Bryce Young, here's the thing, Nervish. If Bryce Young doesn't work out this year, guess where we're going to be? We're going to be in the top 10 again. And I can guarantee you they're going to be looking to get a quarterback. Maybe it's Lenore Sellers out of South Carolina. Just saying. I heard he was, I'm saying. Just kidding. I'm just kidding. Relax. Relax, all Bryce fans. I want Bryce to work out. Trust me. I want Bryce to work out. All right. Relax. All right. Hope Nick can be come back soon. I heard a collapse long is like a 4-week thing. I don't know if that's true or not. Let's see. Let's go look it up. Collapsed long. Rest time, I guess you could put our recovery time. There we go. Recovery time. Recovery time. A collapse along recovery time. Says most people within a few weeks. May heal on its own within 1 to 2 weeks. It just depends on the severity. Coker is the glue. He was out. That's why it looked out of sorts. I don't know about all that, Jerry. It ain't just one guy that makes it look all out of sorts. Did the XL get any targets? No, he didn't. But the first team was out there for 7 snaps. So it's really hard to tell if he was going to get any looks anyways, Nervous. I hate to say it, but the lack of playing time for Jimmy Horn tells me he's not making the 53. Kendall, it's tough for sure. It's tough for Jimmy Horn. He was out there 1 target for 1 yard. He was out there, but I don't know. It's definitely concerning for the lack of playtime for sure. Clay, what's your take on the amount of targets or burn Jimmy Horn Jr. is getting in there? My take as of right now, it's tough to say. It's tough to say. I don't know why he's getting the lack of reps. To be honest with you, I don't know why he's getting the lack of reps. The only thing that it can come to my mind, Miss Rand, is that I feel like he's in a really strange spot, right? And I'll be honest with you guys, I don't think it's a good one if you're looking at it from a roster battle perspective, because you're talking about a guy who's a 6th-round rookie wideout who I like the guy, and I think he can be a baller, right? But the thing is Jimmy Horn Jr. was drafted largely because of his speed and explosiveness. So he's not seeing much burn. And when he does, we're not scheming him into situations where that speed actually matters. At least that's what I'm seeing from a game standpoint. Like, he's been more of an afterthought than a featured development piece in these preseason games. And that's a red flag, because this is when your guys that you give, like Jimmy Horn Jr., extended looks to see if they can translate their traits into that production. And the problem is instead the team has been giving heavier reps to undrafted guys like Bryson Tremaine, who is flat out, no offense, I think Bryson Tremaine has looked better. He's looked more reliable. He looks more comfortable in the limited chances. And Tremaine has been making most of his opportunities, while I feel like Jimmy Horn Jr. has been quiet. So to me, Jimmy Horn Jr. hasn't had the target volume or usage you would expect for a young wideout trying to prove himself. And in the cutthroat world of roster trimming, the lack of opportunity often means the lack of trust from the staff. But he's been flashing all training camp. But then if you're going to flash in training camp, you got to flash in these games too. You got to flash in these games too. Let me see. Ice Bryce. Hold on one second. I was trying to get to Ice Bryce's comment here. Oh, I got it. Is it true Dave and Evero didn't call this game? I can't confirm nor deny that. I can, from what I'm told, I mean, whether they called the Panthers preseason games, if you mean called the game as in called the plays, I'll say this. I think the answer is no. I don't think they did. It sounds like Brad Ezek was the one on that one. And the game, from my understanding on defense, I'm not sure. But from my understanding, at least from what I know of, the game was overseen by Evero. The question about him not calling the game seems to be a misunderstanding, because I'm pretty sure he did call the plays. There's no indication out there that Evero stepped aside from the traditional role during the preseason game. I don't know. But I know for a fact on the offensive side, Brad Ezek was calling the plays. Okay, so Google says collapsed lungs doesn't take that long to recover from, apparently 2 to 10 weeks. Laugh my ass off at Sellers. Yeah, Palmetto Panther. You know where I was going with that. He had to drive back to Houston, couldn't fly. Yeah. Yep. Clay, someone got to step in for Nick. For sure. For sure. I think Jimmy Horn makes the 53, but I wouldn't count on him making a practice squad if they cut him. Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't look good, Panther Pickle. But we drafted him in the top 10 but if we drafted in the top 10 next year, we should consider it right down because it's highly doubtful Taylor Moton returns. Yeah, I mean, I'm going to look into that. I would look into that too, of course. I mean, I think Pickle, it all depends on Bryce Young though, and his performance this year. I I mean, I don't think that in this draft class you could pass up on getting a quarterback if you are in that high spot. You're not gonna. I could see them definitely getting, going after a quarterback if Bryce doesn't pan out this year. I wonder if Arch would come out if the Saints had their first pick next year. I know that's off topic. I don't know. That's a question I can't answer. That question I cannot answer. I don't think Arch will come out in this year's draft class. That's just me personally. I think he'll want to have at least 2 full years under his belt before he comes out. And I think that would be the smartest thing for him, me personally. Yeah, I mean, I'm not keeping David Moore. No. He's the odd man out. I've been saying that. In these preseason games, they are Frank Wright vanilla. It's tough. It's tough. Just read the box score for our quarterback stats for that game. That shit is depressing. Oh, yeah. If we keep Dave Moore I'm going. I feel you. I'm going to be pissed. I'd be pissed too if they did that. I don't think they will, though. I think David Moore is the odd man out. I've been saying that. Bryson is making this team, or at least for a practice squad. Bryson Tremaine's making he's making a name for himself, and he's making it hard for sure. I knew thank you, Pickle. So Panther Pickle did say that Evero did not call the game. I did not know that. I just knew Ezek on the offensive side was calling the offensive plays. Jonathan Cooley, defensive pass game coordinator, was calling plays. Okay, gotcha. Did not know that. I never understood why the play callers in the regular season don't think they need I don't know, man. I don't know. To me, Evero's issues is he makes his players fit his scheme instead of scheming to strengths of his guys, which is why he plays favorites like Nick Scott, for example. It's a fair point, Kendall. It's a fair point for sure. So basically my final thoughts on this game, and then I'm going to get into my stock up, stock downs. I felt like the Panthers didn't lose this game. I felt it was like a wasted opportunity, if that makes sense. Like, these preseason games are supposed to reveal something. To me, it's supposed to reveal things like rhythm, chemistry, flashes of progress, right? Instead, Carolina left Houston with a dingleberry of shit out of their ass. You basically now have a dinged up backup quarterback, a lifeless run game, a starting offense that looks allergic to momentum, more questions about their head coach's decision making. Yes, it's only August, but when you're trying to build confidence after a disastrous 2024 season, mailing in preseason games isn't that way. And if this was the preview of what's to come, buckle up, because it's going to be a long fall in Carolina. But I'm also going to say this, and I'm going to say this one more time to all you folks that might not understand my argument about what I was getting about today's and why I've been so real about today. It's because, again, and I'm going to say this one last time for all you guys that keep saying, well, it's just preseason. I'm going to say this once, and I'm going to say it one more time, and this is the last time. My argument here, because I still see people commenting, my argument here is for reps. REPS, reps, repetition. Practice makes perfect, right? Real reps against a real defense, an opposing defense. So we needed real reps for a quarterback who stumbled out the gate last season. My argument is pulling him after 2 empty drives is just baffling to me. So if the plan is to build chemistry, Dave Canales, then letting him throw twice before calling a night doesn't exactly qualify to me as team building. So, in my opinion, and for all you guys that want to argue with me again, because your arguments doesn't make a lot of sense, Canales either panicked or he second guessed his own plan. Neither inspired confidence. Preseason or not, that is my argument. And I'm going to leave it at that. Yeah, he did. What's up, Clay? Least our rookie kicker looked good. Keep pouting. Yes. Yes, he did, Cal. Yes, he did. Jonathan Cooley called them last week as well. Yeah, he don't look too good. He probably shouldn't be. Jonathan Cooley probably shouldn't be calling those plays then, because his play calling looked like shit. I'm gonna be honest with you. It looked like shit. It should be AC Carter, by the way. If anybody's gonna take over for Evero, it should be AC Carter, the guy who knows how to develop talent, the guy who knows how to develop linebackers. Go look what he did over there in Los Angeles. That's who should be doing it. The regular season play callers need to be calling it in plays. They look like shit for sure. I agree. Dingleberry, yeah. Ice Bryce, yep. Big old fucking Dingleberry. Left a little rosebud in there for you. We gonna be all right in Kendrick Lamar voice. T Green, I love it. I feel the same way, Clay. Yep. Yep. Exactly, T Green. Maybe he didn't trust his OC. Bad play calling, yeah. Yeah, it is what it is. All right, let's get into it. Stock up, stock down. I'm going to click on a player. I'm going to tell you if his stock is up, stock down, why or why not. All right. Let's just start off with the one that I have to say stock up or stock down. I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to be honest with you. Bryce Young, unfortunately, your stock is down. Here's why. This was a day Young will want to erase from his memory. I can tell you that. Dave Canales said last week that the starters, again, we were expecting to get 3 series. We only got 2. And you barely saw the 2. So in that limited time, he threw a questionable interception, obviously, got wiped away due to a defensive holding penalty. Very underthrown ball to Xavier Legette. So, yes, he did get targeted, by the way, guys. Xavier Legette did get targeted, but it was an underthrown ball. The decision-making was sloppy enough that it could have easily cost Panthers more points. He went 0-2 passing and took a sack. Okay? The preseason caveats apply. It's a small sample. It's a couple of snaps. But you don't want to see this kind of flat shit. You don't want to see the indecisive play from your supposed franchise QB. Right now, Young stock, it's not tanking. I'm not saying it's tanking and he's just going down a downhill spiral, so relax. But it's hovering from like uncomfortable to the near bottom of the preseason watch list. Okay? Again, I already said my argument earlier. You know what I mean? I already said my argument earlier. My argument, again, is not about that. My argument, again, is about reps and taking it's not, and I'm not throwing Bryce under the bus. This is not all on Bryce. That's all I'm going to say. So just relax. He hardly did anything. He had a terrible drop by the first down. What's up? It's on Dave Canales. T Green comes in and says it's on Dave Canales. All right, stock up, stock down. The next player. Jack Plummer. Plummer had a chance I felt like, to give himself a chance, right? To carve out a role, especially if Andy Dalton's injury lingers. Okay. Instead, it was another opportunity missed scenario. Yes, he completed 10 of 13 passes, but most were checkdowns that barely traveled 5 yards. The bigger issue is he had two awful interceptions under pressure. Houston blitzed, Plummer panicked, and then suddenly the ball was airborne in the wrong hands. So this isn't a total disaster for Plummer's stock, but it's a hard reminder that when the defense is dialed in, he struggles to respond. He needs to prove he can handle pressure without giving the other team free possessions. All right. Now, let's get into some positives real quick. Let's talk about my guy that I keep bringing up, Bryson Tre'von. Stock is up. It's up. He disappeared in the opener against Cleveland. Had a great he's had a great training camp. He just disappeared in Cleveland. Had a great joint. He had made some plays in joint practice that I also heard. But here's the thing: Tre'von came alive against Houston. Right? I mean, 3 catches, 46 yards, was targeted 4 times, averaged 15.3. The highlight was him on a gutsy 23-yard grab over the middle. He showed he could handle the contact, make plays. Roster wise, he's still a long shot for me. I think our wide receiver depth chart is obviously probably the strongest we've ever had it, and the strongest we may even have on the roster. But his performance could be the difference between him being on the practice squad or being cut. Being cut, right? Could he be a wide receiver 6 or 7? Maybe. It just depends on how he finishes out. I think Tre'von is trending upward and earning eyeballs from the coaches, but we'll see. His stock is up for sure. Next person's stock is up is one of my favorite draft picks we had this year in Princely Umami-Ellen. Our rookie pass rushers usually take time to adjust, but I'll tell you, I felt like Umami-Ellen made himself visible. He was active against the run. He created real pressure on the quarterback. He racked up 3 tackles, even though it says 1. He had 3 total. He had a quarterback hit. Our defense wasn't a spectacular as a unit, but Umami-Ellen consistently put himself in the right spot to make plays. This kind of rookie activity is exactly what keeps your stock rising. He's doing enough to be noticed, and he's not being a liability, right? So what a freaking catch. Sorry. I'm watching the Giants game over here, and this guy just had it was a dart by Jameson Williams, but what's his name? Whoever number 5 is made a hell of a play. Sorry about that. All right. Next up, stock down. We're going to Corey Thornton. His stock is up, ladies and gentlemen, for sure, because he is quietly becoming hard to ignore. I think he's made several plays against Houston. He continues to stack good practices. He's had a very strong preseason, strong training camp performances. At this point, the conversation shouldn't be whether he's making the 53-man roster. It should be whether he starts opposite of JC Horn. Because here's the thing. Consistency is everything in the NFL, especially in your secondary in a pass-heavy league. And I'll tell you this right now. Thornton is showing he has it. And if he keeps, the pace that he's at, boy, he'll have coaches seriously consider him for meaningful reps. I'm all about some Corey Thornton right now. All about some Corey Thornton. And then again, of course, this guy his stock continues to plummet, and it continues to plummet, and it continues to plummet. Why is he on this team? This bum, because that's what he is. He's a bum. Scott played a decent game. I'm gonna be honest. I thought he played decent, but he's still a bum. But again, decent isn't enough. Watching him run, the first half confirms that his stock flagged down last week. It isn't moving in the right direction. He hasn't done anything to stand out or stake a claim on this roster. This is in this league where where marginal differences determine roster survival. Scott is the guy who is treading water in shark waters. The water isn't where you want to be in August, ladies and gentlemen. I can tell you that. Because you got guys like Lathan Ransom out there, okay? You got guys like Lathan Ransom who is bringing energy to that secondary, who's making solid tackles, who's being physical. Same thing with Jamani Richardson. So, Nick Scott, get him off my team. I'm done with this Nick Scott. I don't know who I like Shy Tuttle is another guy whose stock is plummeting, but because he's not doing himself any favors. But I don't know who's worse, Nick Scott or Shy Tuttle. Y'all tell me. They're battling for like the worst player on this team, I feel like. Oh, by the way, if anybody's having a cocktail or beer or whatever you may be drinking, cheers. Dan Morgan using Evra for a scapegoat. That's why he was signed. Jesus. Oh, Marcos Cash. Cheers to me. Cheers to you. Here we go. Just for that. Here we go. Hold on. I got one. I got a good one for the beer thing. Hold on. Where is it at? I got a good one.
1 beer, 2 beers, 3 beers.
There you go. There you go. What? Nice. So, yeah, overall, man, at the end of the day, it's like I said, it's about reps. It's about building chemistry. That's what really the biggest, again, that is just the biggest takeaway I took from all of that, guys. Like, again, if you're going to play your starters to build chemistry, maybe actually let them build chemistry before you yank them after 2 empty drives. That is my biggest argument. And that is my biggest takeaway from this whole thing. I took a lot of things away from it, but obviously, because we went over it. I mean, we've been on live for over an hour and 20 minutes. Yeah, it's just that's where I'm at. But we had some stock up, stock down. Oh, I can hit you with that, T Green. I can hit you with that. There you go.
And that's the bottom line, because Stone Cold said so. And that's the bottom line.
Boom. Hit you with it. I hit you with it, T Green. I hit you with it. I fucks with some Stone Cold now. That's my favorite wrestler of all time. Fucks with some WWE. I don't know about y'all. Anyways, but shout out to everyone in the chat, man. The chat went off tonight. I was trying to keep up with your comments. I can't keep up with all your comments. Can't keep up with all your comments. Sometimes. Again, I appreciate everyone smashing that like button. We've got some slackers, by the way, because we only have 31 likes. We got some slackers. All right. But again, final words. I'm going to just say this. Yes, it's only August, But when you're trying to build confidence after a disastrous 2024 season, taking your starters out, that you're trying to build chemistry with, have them build chemistry, right? Maybe let them actually build it before you yank them after 2 empty drives. That's my final word. Other than that, guys, I appreciate all your love and support. Hold on. Got a $5 donation. Listen, I keep going if I'm getting these. It's also about seeing who you are going to put on this 53-man roster, Clay. Yes, individually, yes. I'm looking at players. That's why we did stock up, stock down. I'm looking at guys who are making plays and who are not. Like if you wait for our starters to score, you may not see anything else. So Steelers going to beat us to them, probably. The way it looks at this point, probably. So play for Jesus is not slacking. Is not a slacking slacker. No, he's not. So shout out to Flame for Jesus with that $5 donation. Once again, he just continues to bless this channel tremendously. So I greatly appreciate that. So shout out to everyone. Again, in the chat, shout out to Flame for Jesus, who continues to just come on here and just hammer the donations. Get memberships, $5 here, $5 there, couple $10 here, couple $10 there. Just boom, boom, boom. I really appreciate that, him blessing. I'm gonna have to repay the favor. I'll have to figure something out for that. I'll figure it out. I'll come up with something. Other than that, guys, that's all I got to say tonight about it. We're gonna let it be. We're gonna move on now. All right, let's move on to next week. We'll be diving into some more stuff, obviously, with practice, and then of course Thursday we will probably only going to have 2 practices, I'm assuming, because I'll probably take the day off tomorrow, and then they'll be probably back on Monday and Tuesday. Maybe have a small practice on Wednesday, probably walkthroughs and whatnot. Probably not padded on Wednesday, and then they got the game Thursday, and then it's on to the 53-man roster, building it out. And then its deadline will be cut. The deadline for cuts will be August 27th. So, again, I appreciate everyone joining the live stream. Appreciate all y'all continue to show your love and support here at the Roppstar Report. We're just growing tremendously, and I'm so thankful for that. I'm going to continue to bring you guys as much content as possible. Other than that, guys, I will see you Monday. I'll see you Monday. All right. Other than that, guys, I'll see you on Monday. Y'all take care. Have a great rest of your weekend. I'm out. Keep pounding. Peace.